Step into the vibe, oh yeah. Feel the rhythm rise high. We're living life, let's fly off tap life. Sky's the limit, no shy. Off tap life.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to some more The Warning. That's right, it's going down. Getting back into exploring their body of work, and this one right here is Dany, Paul, and Al playing God Gave Rock and Roll to You. This should be exciting. I can't wait to dive in. You guys know how much I'm enjoying The Warning. And for you guys who are new here, we're going through their whole body of work. We've got quite a few The Warning reactions already in the back there, so go check it out. We've got thousands of videos, something for everyone. So if you're not into that, I'm sure there's something there that you will like. So that being said, without further ado, from me and all of you, let's get off track. This is really interesting, you know, seeing them the first time as a band together, you know, like actually doing a song, you know, not doing classical piano, not doing, you know, a cover with one of them playing, you know, a cover or something. Like, this is them all together. And it's quite interesting, you know, like just seeing those early days, you know, and seeing them figuring it all out, you know what I mean? Like getting all that, you know, talent, all those skills, all those lessons, everything that they had, you know, been doing to get to this point, and putting it all together and executing it to start forming what is now one of the greatest bands around. So that's super cool. They even got their little back dancers, back singers there. That's so cool. I love it. Let's keep going. They look like they got quite a few people there too. Look at all the people walking by, like in front of the camera. You can see so many people walking back and forth. Like, I wonder what this event was. It's like, looked like they had a good turnout, man. That's pretty cool. First gig, you know, like first, like, you know, with the band and having a good turnout at like some type of local event or something. That's pretty cool. Imagine, like, you were one of those girls in the back, and now you're like, my gosh, they've gone to become such big rock stars, and we were right there. And then, also, like, it's one of those things where when you've got, an environment that's a bit hostile, what I mean by, like, there's a lot of sound, a lot of different things that can distract you from actually being able to hear your monitors properly, because from my own experience when I'm performing and stuff, and if you can't hear yourself in the monitors, it really can hamper your ability to really just perform at your peak. It can play with your mind just crazily. So, and then take into account that there's still like 10, 8, 12, something like that in this video. So it takes time. It takes time to hone in your craft. And this would be one of their first gigs. So just imagine the pressure and all of that would be going along with those other, again, like I said, hostile things that could be interfering with their ability to actually hear themselves so take all these things into account: their age, this being one of their first times performing together as a band, their acoustics, their monitors, being able to hear the distractions, being in a hostile environment, also having 4 background singers that maybe aren't as rehearsed as they are, that aren't taking music as serious, you just don't know. But like, there's a lot of factors to play an effect here. So all of that, and then you go, yeah, this is good. So, all right, let them bring it home. I'll give my final thoughts. That would have been one really hard performance for them, it really is. But on the positive, you get that first one, underneath your belt, and then you start just really starting to really fly. That first one is the hardest one. And, I feel like this was definitely probably, from, if we're to believe based on what's on their YouTube channel, this would be like their first, okay guys, let's do this. We're going to go out there together. We're going to take everything that we've learned. We're going to apply it, and let's just freaking just go for it and start a riot. Because it doesn't hurt just to try it. And if we're good enough, the people will buy it. Or otherwise, they won't like us and they'll just stay quiet. Anyways, I enjoy, watching, artists find their way. I enjoy the journey, being able to look back in the past and see where they came from. Those hard yards, because it's like, for example, good example, it's like, I think it might have been Katie or Serrano. It was one of them that are boxing tomorrow actually, and they were saying that they put all the hard work in, and now fighting at the big fight finally is the fun part, right? That's kind of how it is, right? You've put in all the hard work. You've spent countless hours training and learning and honing in on your craft, and then finally, it's show day. It's showtime. It's that moment for you to shine, and that is where you get to go. Okay, all that's out. Let's now just have a good time and just go out there and just do our best. And really, that's what their attitude have been, because I'm sure they would have been nervous. They would have been a bit afraid. Like, what will our friends think? What will the people think? Will we let anyone down? There would have been so many thoughts going through their minds. And I think they handled it like superstars. They really did, and I love to see that, that tenacity, that will, that desire to just get out there and just give it a shot. You know what I mean? Like, if they didn't, let's say that was their, turning point in their life, in their career. Let's say that moment they decide, no, we can't do it. Everything else that's happened now may not have happened if they didn't just get out there. And that's how you guys got to think about things in your life. Like, don't be afraid to just get out there and just give it a shot. You know what I mean? Just go for it. What's the worst that could really happen? You know what I mean? Like, hey, so what? Maybe you weren't perfect, but at least you gave it a shot, and that's all that matters. And once you get out there, like I said, you get that first one out, the next one gets a little easier, the next one gets a little easier, and so on until finally you are the global superstars that they've become today. And that is a really cool origin story to be able to watch this unfold. Was they perfect? No, of course not. They're just starting out, like, as a group. They're just starting out. They're still feeling their way. Like, of course they weren't perfect in this performance, but the whole goal probably wasn't even for them to be perfect. They had probably no expectation of perfection. If I was their manager, if I was their parent, I would have said, look, don't worry about anything except just going out there and doing your best. In the process, have a great time. Just do your thing. Don't worry about it, and I think most people who are, have a bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Who aren't a-holes, basically. They're going to, be supportive of these young kids. They're going to see these young kids and they'll be like, wow, look at these young kids getting out there and, going for their dreams, just like living their passion, bringing it to life, and doing something that most of the adults wouldn't even think of doing. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people would have been giving them just a lot of support for just being out there, period. And like I said, there's a lot of factors that can make it hard for you, especially when you're singing as a vocalist. It's easy to become pitchy very quickly when you don't have the right monitoring going on and you can't hear yourself properly. The environment is hostile. It's not complimentary to you performing live. Like, I mean, I could hear it just in the thing. It was a very noisy environment. It must have been a lot of people there. And, those monitor speakers that they would have had outside, like just in a big open space, no barriers to help keep the sound in, it just would have, I imagine it would have been a tough time for them. I really do. I tell you one of my stories, man. I remember having to perform one time and my monitors, like, I couldn't hear myself whatsoever. And it was one of the hardest performances I've ever done in my entire life, because I couldn't hear myself. I literally couldn't hear myself whatsoever. Like, I think literally either it just went dead and it's just stopped working, or the freaking people at the mixing desk didn't have the volume up loud enough. And I remember so many times I'd be going, like, turn the volume up on the monitors, turn it up, because I can't hear myself. And, like, especially when you're performing and a crowd are into what you're doing and they're screaming, and it's like, makes it that much harder to hear yourself because the fans are freaking just and it's crazy, man. But these are the things that as a professional you learn to cope with, you learn to deal with. And as they say, the show must go on. And this is the thing, no matter what happens, no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're experiencing, you have to just wear it and you have to just go through it. And no matter what, the show must go on. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and I think that's the thing. Like, being an artist myself, being someone who had to start in front of a big crowd at a young age and suddenly find myself performing, like just for the first time. Like I remember how it felt for me, and I could picture them having the same type of situation happen for them that happened to me. Like for me, I'm sitting there at the piano, and 8 years old, sitting there, first time performing in front of a crowd of people, and I'm like, oh crap, not only am I playing the piano, but I'm also going to be singing. So I'm like just sitting there like, holy crap. Like, and all I could think about at that time was like, man, not only am I going to potentially embarrass myself, but I'm going to embarrass my family. I'm going to let everyone down and all this kind of stuff. And I was scared. I was afraid. I was like, what am I doing? This is insane, right? And then it took just one look. I looked out in the audience. My mom was there. And my mom just smiled and nodded her head. And I just knew everything would be okay then. That just gave me that extra reinforcement, that sense of, you're going to be all right, baby. You're going to be all right. And I did a good job, And so I can imagine their mom, from what I've seen so far, I feel like they've got that loving parent or parents in their life that are very supportive, that are very behind them. And I could just see them just, being there in the audience, just going, you've got this, you've got this, you've got this. You've put in the hard work. You've put in the effort. We know you can do this. We wouldn't have booked this for you guys if we didn't think you could do it. It'd be that kind of situation. And I just think they did a fantastic job. I really do. I think that there would have been just so much nerves. Gosh, there would have been so much nerves. But they did a fantastic job. And we know they did a fantastic job. You know how we know? Because now they're big, freaking awesome, incredible freaking rock stars. That's how we know. And it's cool that we could see that in real time now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to wait. Like, because, 10 years ago, if someone would have watched this on YouTube, there's no way they would have thought that these guys now would be the freaking awesome band that they are. It just wouldn't. But now we kind of can cheat and see that that's what happened. But it's credible, right? It's just so cool. But, at the end of the day, I tell you this, though. At the end of the day, the smart people know that anyone who's hungry enough, anyone who is just, willing to just not give up and just keep fighting no matter what, against the odds, no matter what the situation is, that if they do that, that they will get there. They will get there. You just got to keep the faith. And keeping the faith is the one thing that will definitely give you what you need to get where you need to go. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a little faith. You don't need a whole lot. Just use what you got. Faith, faith, faith. A little faith. No pun intended. But speaking of which, a little faith in your life probably is a good thing for you too. So maybe subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Maybe leave a comment. And yeah, guys, I really appreciate all of you guys. I thank you for the support. We've got members that have been members now for freaking like 4 or 5 years, something like that. And I'm really thankful for the longevity of, the subscribers, members, and people who've just been following me since day one. So I want to thank all of you guys, the OGs, but I also want to thank all the new bloods, all the new people who have come here now. Thank all of you guys for joining the party and just becoming part of the family. I really appreciate it. And if you're day one, this is your first time coming across one of my videos, thank you too. Thank you for giving me a chance, giving me an opportunity, and I really appreciate that. So anyways, guys, yeah, more awesomeness to come. Keep it locked and loaded. As always, remember to one of the fullest. Keep it off tap. Off tap out.
We gotta get out of here! I'll catch you guys later for another vlog!